Alright, we should be good now. Should be good. There we go. Why could those be my words? Or someone else's? No, right now it's doubtful whether these are even words or not. There's nothing here. No sound, no color, no wind. It feels like I'm swaying around in a cloudy liquid. It's so cold. With every breath I take, my windpipe in my lungs, they let out a dry sound as if they're frozen. A heavy, dangling palm is clutching onto a small fragment of light. A bell. It's a small sphere, smooth metal surface shines as it emits a cold light. The bottom has a long, narrow hole carved into it. A small, dull crimson string is tied to the top. Before long, the bell begins to quietly slip out of the palm. It then slips out and falls. I tearfully cling to her chest as my body's trembling gradually intensifies. In my arms, I can feel her cold, wet skin. Her thin limbs are stiff. Looking at her ghastly pale, almost transparent cheeks, I feel like I might shatter into a million pieces if I touched her cheek. As if she were a doll made of glass, she has already stopped moving. She doesn't speak or smile. With her radiance and warmth completely gone, all that's left of her is an empty shell. A completely empty shell. Today is Saturday, April 6th, 2019. I've lost her. Why? Only that hoarse voice feels that empty void. As I wake, I kick the covers off the bed with all my strength. Still half asleep, I blankly stare at the ceiling. The ceiling looks unfamiliar. It's slanted, made up of several polished wooden boards that are stuck together and equally spaced. These boards were probably built with no space between them. The faint scent of the wood lingers in the air. I realize that I'm freezing. My body is soaked with sweat all over. I take a deep breath and slowly exhale. The warm scent of the wood goes through my nose and fills my head. It takes me 3 more breaths until I reach the point where I realize where I am. That's right, I'm at the camp. April 1st, Monday. I slowly sit up by my bedside. The sheets that I kicked off are now on the floor. I should pick them up, but I don't have the strength to do so. My whole body feels sluggish. My parched throat begins to beg for water. It feels as though I'm waking up with a hangover. Despite my body's protests, I raise my left arm to check the time on my watch. The digital reading says Monday, 9:17 a.m. on its display. I lower my arm. Take another deep breath. What an awful nightmare. Suddenly, I start to feel a bit worried. But why? It was just a dream. I shouldn't get shaken over some dream. Still, deep down, I can't help but feel a little disturbed. A dream? But was it really just that? Saturday, April 6th. 5 days, huh? Unconsciously, I start counting the number of days until Saturday on my right hand. What the hell am I doing? I must still be half asleep. I coldly smirk, mocking myself. But just then, the door to the room is viciously thrown open. I turn this down a little bit. The door to my room is violently thrown open with enough force to break it. Standing in the doorway, I see. Who is she again? All of a sudden, she says something.
どういうこと？どう
What's going on? She sounds like she's frantically chasing after something.
して？
Why? The girl repeats to herself. Obviously, I have no clue what she's talking about. Come again? I think I sound really stupid, but it's too late to take my words back. The girl is startled by my reply and takes in a deep breath. She says nothing, but instead stares directly into my eyes. This is kind of awkward. almost like this girl. This one time at the grocery store, when a little girl I didn't know tightly clung to my leg while saying "Daddy." Yeah, this situation feels the same. Did something happen? It's at times like this, it's important to stay calm. I don't want the situation to get any more awkward. Just then.
そうだったの
Was that it? Then, in other words, that was. As she speaks, her eyes wander around the room. She looks really confused.
ただの夢だったってこと
It was just a dream. Are you alright? You're still half asleep, aren't you? I say this as I give her a sympathetic grin.
寝ぼけて
Half asleep?
うん
Yeah, that might be it.
でも
It seems that way. Although she says that, looks like she hasn't yet grasped that this is reality. What kind of dream was it? I ask her this. Huh? She seems surprised, so I ask again. Your dream, what was it about?
うん
Right. Well, it was... I don't really remember it all that well.
さっきまでは
It's weird,
ちょっ
though.
と覚えてた
I felt like I
気が
could
するんだけど
I could remember it when I woke up. She thoughtfully taps her cheek with her index finger. I know what you mean. Like when you wake up from a dream cracking up, but then can't remember what's so funny, or something like that. All that would be left behind would be a vague, pleasant feeling.
そう本当に
Right, kind of like that.
私の
Except in my case, it wasn't a happy one.
絶望感
I think it was hopelessness. At that moment, her expression becomes dim. Hopelessness. Now that she mentions it, I also woke up this morning from a rather grim dream.
でもよかった
But I'm glad. Suddenly, she begins to smile widely.
夢でよかったよ
I'm really glad it was just a dream. Huh? But didn't you say you don't remember what happened in it?
そういうんじゃなく
No, that's not it. How do I put this? I mean, I'm glad that the dream's finally over.
よく覚えてないけど
Even though I don't remember it, I'm sure it was the worst nightmare I ever had. Looking at her closely, I realize that her entire body is soaked with sweat. She looks like a patient who's just escaped from a hospital. Her face is pale too.
ごめんね
Anyway,
仕掛けちゃった
sorry for intruding on you. No, I don't mind. I myself woke up as well.
ちょっと恥ずかしいよね
I'm a little embarrassed now, after spouting all of that gibberish out of the blue.
有病
It's like I was a sleepwalker. She gives me a flustered grin as she tries to comb her messy bed hair with her right hand. In return, I smile back.
まあこのことはなかったことにしといて
Let's just say this never happened, okay?
だけの日
This is a secret between you and me, Makoto. After I give a slight nod in agreement, she leaves the room. Wait, hold on. I almost missed it. Makoto. She definitely said that just now. Like we're best friends or something. We only just met yesterday. Why are you calling me that without a kun or something? Whatever. Maybe she's just that kind of girl. The really friendly type. Though she seems alright. I stretch, stand up, and begin thinking. What did she say her name was again? I definitely think it started with a U. Yuriko... Yuka. Yuka? That's right, her name is Yuka. I remember now. She said it when she introduced me last night. Her last name was Kawashima, wasn't it? Yuka Kawashima, huh? Well then. Muttering those words, I head out to the living room. The ceiling is quite drafty. The room is rather spacious. Everything in it is new and well organized, like a showroom. On the south wall is a huge glass window. It offers a fantastic view of the blue ocean. There's no one else here yet. Yuka probably went back to her own room. I feel like relaxing, so I approach the sofa. Suddenly, I noticed someone's placed an aluminum ashtray on top of it. Lying in the ashtray is a lone cigarette butt. Geez, what kind of idiot put an ashtray here of all places? I pick it up and place it on the round table in front of me. With that, I sink into the sofa. Beyond the glass window, the morning sun shines in from the east, its reflection sparkling on the ocean. It's quite breathtaking scenery. Positioning myself so that I can see it better, I blankly stare out into the ocean for a while. I think about nothing and just relax. Soon enough, the door to the living room slowly opens. The one who comes in is, huh? Oh yeah, that's right. Come to think of it, I don't think I've heard this girl's name yet. Good morning. I greet her cheerfully. I wait several seconds for a reply, only get to none in return. The girl completely ignores me and disappears into the kitchen, as if nothing had happened. No, she might not have ignored me intentionally. It seems to be an unconscious and natural behavior for her. For an instant, if she thought she heard the greeting from the TV, then she probably would have ignored it. For instance, I misread that. Having been ignored, I become determined to clear up this good morning issue, so I stagger to my feet and head for the kitchen. In an attempt to fix the situation, I face her and try to say good morning again. Good morning. Without a word, she turns on the sink faucet, filling her glass cup with water. With a tiny sound, she drinks the entire cup in one large gulp. So, did you sleep well last night? Those words sounded incredibly forced and cliched. I feel my face flush from embarrassment. I mean, not to be rude, but you don't look like you slept much. No answer. Instead, the absent-minded girl just watches the water drip from the faucet. You're not feeling depressed, are you? After all, you were taken away from your precious spring break against your will. Honestly, I'm bummed out about that too. But you know, it can't be helped. It's too late now. So let's make the best of it, okay? I mean, if we're going to spend the week here, then it'd be best to pass our time at this camp optimistically as productively. And as energetically as we can. It's meaningless. The girl says this quite suddenly. I have nothing to gain from that. Nothing to gain. These words make my mouth run dry. I'm speechless. Because I am nothing. What? Before I can ask again, she slips right past me and returns to the living room. Up until earlier, I'd been sitting down on the comfy sofa. But now the girl is sitting where I was in a demure manner. While trying to think about what to say, it's at that point he shows up, entering the living room while rubbing the sleep out of his eyes.
Yeah.
Hey! He says this in a gaudy voice that causes me to shiver repulsively. It resembles the greeting of a dictator looking down upon his people. He looks at me as I stand still in the center of the room, then turns his attention towards the silent girl. Huh? I'm not interrupting something, am I? He turns to the girl as he ignores my presence. Of course, she doesn't answer him. Nah, there's no way it's like that. While laughing, he stares at me again. His eyes are full with scorn. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Does he have something against me? He lets out a loud yawn while slowly walking over to the sofa before sitting on it. He keeps about 20 inches between the girl and himself. 20 inches. Pretty incredible. It's a distance that's not too far to be distant, but not too close to be considered creepy. He did it so effortlessly that it must be like second nature to him. A process that's been imprinted and stored into his brain, such as unconsciously controlling a car or bike would be. I suppose that's what you call a master. This guy's the only one whose name I'd heard before coming here. Oyuhiko Aida. If you're a student at my college, you would have heard his name at least once. I bet that even if you asked someone off campus, they'd have heard of the son of the Aida financial group. In my case, the upper-class Aida family live a life that us working-class people can only dream about. So Oyuhiko is a member of the family's heir. It's been arranged for him to become the head of it someday. In school, you couldn't go a day without hearing gossip about him. He always kept millions of yen in the trunk of his beloved Ferraro, or I heard that he conducted business with a celebrity, and then most of the stories are basically 2 years ago that happened to him, but when he gave that and did that, vague, outlandish stuff like that. And last night, when I first met the famous Oyuhiko in person, Hey, Oyuhiko. I address him again. Yeah? I'm bored. I might as well try and strike a conversation. He seems interested enough. It's just, what exactly are we trying to achieve at the so-called seminar camp here? Ishihara, didn't you read the board? It's an informal societal gathering between each member of the group. That's written, right? In short, we don't have a goal. If we all get along and become friends, then it's all okay. That's it? That's the case. Then don't you think that a week is too long for that? Don't fuss over the minor details. I don't think it's that bad. As if to emphasize his point, Oyuhiko continues with this. Don't you think so, Haruka-chan? Haruka? I see, so Haruka is that girl's name. Don't you think so? Oyuhiko gives Haruka an attempt of a smile. That's refined, yet half-hearted. Just then, this smell. I hate it. She suddenly speaks. Huh? His jaw drops. I don't think he's used to being so utterly ignored. This smell. She glares at the aluminum ashtray that I placed on top of the round table earlier. It's a cigarette. I see. So you hate the smell of cigarettes, Haruka-chan. Haruka gives a slight nod. Now that you mention it, shouldn't the flames have already gone out a long time ago? Ishihara. Do you really think that the smell of cigarettes is something that typically just appears like that? A frequent smoker may not realize it, but a non-smoker can notice it instantly. You should be a little more careful so you don't bother others. Hey, hold on. I don't smoke. Damn, you don't have a speck of decency, do you? I'm telling you, it wasn't me. Don't try to fool us. Let me ask you something. Who was the first person to enter the living room this morning? I was, but when I came in, that ashtray was already there on top of the sofa. Oh, so that's it. Well, I guess I can believe you. In return, I declare that from this day onwards, the inside of this lodge is strictly a non-smoking area. You will abide by that, won't you? Damn it, you don't believe me at all. Just as I'm about to retort, Haruka quietly stands up. We watch in silent anticipation as she slowly takes the aluminum ashtray and walks towards the kitchen. Just like that. Though I can only see her face in profile, I can clearly tell that she's angry. There's a cold, harsh glint in her eyes. I'm gonna get a sip of water real quick. Ohio! The Yuka who enters the living room looks like a completely different person from before. Her fixed-up hair is now lightly bouncing, and she has changed out of her clothes into a neat pink dress. But the biggest change is her face. She looks excited, like a kid about to leave for a field trip. For a second, our eyes meet, remembering what happened this morning. I spontaneously break out into a smile. Still feeling a little embarrassed, Yuka breaks eye contact with me, playing with her hair. Good morning.
Yeah.
Hey there. Oyuhiko returns her greeting as well. Haruka, needless to say, doesn't reply at all. Instead, she is now quietly in a dining chair in front of the kitchen after having cleaned up the ashtray.
みんな朝ごはんは
Have any of you had breakfast yet? Yuka says this while turning her head to survey the three of us. No, not yet.
そう。じゃあ
I see.
私の腕によりをかけ
Well then,
てあげ
I guess I'll make some. What?
何かご不満でも
What, is there something wrong? Yuka, you can cook?
ひょっとして疑っているの
You're not doubting me, are you? No, it's not like that.
じゃあ別に問題ないよね
Well then, there's no problem, right? Right. Yuka and cooking. For a while, I get lost in my fantasies as I connect the two together. A girl's cooking. It's impossible to describe just how overjoyed I am as a man by this situation. Is there anything I can do to help? I try asking her this, as I feel like it's the right thing to do.
いいよいいよ
No, it's okay. Just wait and watch some TV. I can do this all by myself. I see.
多分15分
I think it'll probably take a good 15 minutes. Toast is okay, right? Hiko gives her a quick nod as if to say, I'll leave it to you. And I follow suit. What about you,
あ
Haruka?
もうパンでいい
Are you okay with toast as well? Haruka gives a slight nod, not taking her gaze off the table surface.
じゃあすぐ作るから
Well then, I'll be done soon, so just wait a bit. She begins to go into the kitchen. At that moment... Oh, that's right. I remember something and instantly try to draw Yuka's attention.
何
What is it? There's something I'd like to ask you. Do you smoke?
言うわけないでしょそんなもの
There's no way I'd do something like smoking.
この初々しい
If you look at my perfect skin, it's obvious. She comically places her hands to her cheeks, muttering to herself in agreement as she enters the kitchen. If she didn't do it, just who was it that smoked? Yuka, Haruka, Oyuhiko? Which one of those three is lying? I moan in frustration. Even though Yuka said it had only been 15 minutes, it's almost been an hour. Just what the hell is she cooking in there anyways? It's almost 11. It's too late to even call it brunch. While waiting, the three of us decide to wash our faces and change our clothes. Currently, we're watching a TV that's sitting in the corner of the living room. There's a health show on called Healthy Utopia. Judging from its subtle Good Green Vegetables to Eat, subtitle Good Green Vegetables to Eat, it's basically a cooking show. Of course, none of us want to watch this. Unfortunately, this island only has 2 channels, both of which are local broadcasting. The other channel happens to be featuring a short documentary on natural streams all over the country. Though both shows are boring, I think the one about streams might have been a better candidate for distracting us from our hunger. My stomach is rumbling, and I don't think I can last much longer. Oh no, this is the part where I have to like pull up a song. But I'll refrain from doing that.
お待たせしました
Sorry to keep you waiting. Finally, Yuka peeks her head out from the
そち
kitchen.
らもうテーブルの方
I've already set the food on the table.
そっちに
Let's eat. At those words, Haruka immediately stands up. I'm kind of surprised. I find it odd that the usually indifferent Haruka is this determined about eating breakfast. I guess she must be practically starving. Upon arriving at our table, our eyes widen. Our wondrous vision of food, rivaling a 4-star restaurant in southern France, is gloriously shattered into pieces. There's a mysterious object that I've never seen before in my life, heaped onto a pile at the center of the table. Next to it are 4 plates with toast. The thing is toast, right? Placed on them. As if it had come from outer space, this mystery object has a complicated and mysterious pattern of spots and is shaped like some kind of viscous jelly mold. As for Yuka's toast, it's a solid black mass that we might as well call charcoal. Eat up! Yuka urges us on with a large, proud smile. At the same time, she takes the mysterious object and places it onto the charcoal and smacks her lips. We watch her dumbstruck. Before long... Huh? Guys, what's wrong? Yuka tilts her head. Sorry, my stomach's not feeling so good. Wow, that's cheap. I'm not hungry. Haruka, not you too! But I just finished it and everything. I remade it countless times, you know. I don't think the quality of the food has anything to do with how many times you remake it. Furthermore, if it's true that this is the result of all my time and effort, for the last hour, including countless times I remade it, then I just can't understand. If that's the case, then just what kind of thing was her initial result? Just trying to imagine it makes my hair stand on end. Suddenly, as if she's reading my mind, Yuka says this. Makoto, you are hungry, right? She makes it sound as if I'm completely obliged to eat this. Yeah. I hopelessly nod. In the end, let's just say that Yuka's food drove me to hell and back. I never did figure out what the recipe of the mysterious object was. In all honesty, I'm horrified to ask. Yuka and I ate all of the mysterious object along with the 2 pieces each of charcoal, including the other's share. Right now, she's happily humming while washing the dishes. I think it's more of a face of the fact that she can now say someone actually ate her cooking rather than being full. That's the cause of her happiness. In short, I became the sole sacrifice for that purpose. I feel sick. I can feel my chest and throat filling up with nausea. I would rush to the bathroom as fast as I could, but if I threw up, I'd have to look at the monstrosity that should never have to be... that nobody should ever have to suffer through seeing twice. I have to endure it. I have to wait until my stomach calms down. I swear I'll never let Yuka cook again. I repeat this vow to myself 21 times. Then, the doorbell rings from the front door. Our group has 4 members. Nobody else is scheduled to come here except for us, right? As I squat down on the floor, I survey the surrounding area restlessly. Haruka is brushing her teeth in front of the sink. Where's Oyuhiko? Get the door! Our hands are full right now! I hear his voice coming from the kitchen. It seems that Oyuhiko is helping Yuko with the cleanup. Hurry up and answer it. I don't want to cover the floor in vomit. Like an old man, I slowly wobble to my feet and stand up. I take little steps to the front door while hunching over, just like one too. Okay, I'm on it. I massage my stomach with my left hand while opening the door with my right. Thank you very much for your continued patronage. Huh? Standing in the doorway is an innocent-looking girl. Judging from her appearance, I'd say she's probably in middle school. Riding on top of her palm is a square silver-colored bag. Here's the seafood pizza you ordered. Seafood pizza? I never ordered anything like that. A disturbed expression clouds her face as she searches through her pocket with her free hand and pulls out a scrap paper. But the receipt says you definitely ordered a seafood pizza, didn't you? Suddenly she stops speaking formally, making her feel like a little kid on an errand. No, that's what I meant. You see, I didn't order anything. But she checks the receipt again. This is definitely the right address. As she says this, she shows me the receipt. However, there's no way I would have memorized the lounge's address. And wait a second. After telling her this, I turn around towards the kitchen. Hey, did anyone order a pizza? Oyuhiko says no. And then Haruka says no. I didn't think so. Do any of you know this address? Should be written on the nameplate. By the front door. I see. I mutter this and turn around again. She was right. There's a wooden nameplate. Show me that receipt again. Won't the pizza get cold? As she says this, she hands over the receipt. I take it from her and compare it to the nameplate. The nameplate says District 3, House 8, Number 1. And written on the receipt is 381. Take a closer look at them. 3, House 8, and 381. What is this? I don't think this is a 1, but a 7, right? Huh? She immediately snatches the receipt from my hand. 3, 8, and 7. Then this isn't the Asakura house. I unintentionally laughed. Of course. Why didn't I just check that first? Had I just asked for the receiver's name, I could have cleared up this misunderstanding immediately. I'm a blockhead. I'm a dummy. Sorry, there isn't anyone here named Asakura. Hold it right there! That abrupt shout surprises the girl. What is it, Oyuhiko? Oyuhiko had walked over without me noticing. Is currently standing next to me. Thank you for all your trouble. Huh? I am Oyuhiko Asakura. What the hell are you saying? You're the Aida. Oyuhiko instantly shuts me up with a dirty glare. Right. I am the Aida Lumber Store's part-time check clerk, Oyuhiko Asakura. The girl watches our little exchange with curiosity. Hello! And mutters this a little overwhelmed. So where's the pizza? Alright. Slightly flustered, the girl pulls out a thin box from the silver bag. Here's your order. Oyuhiko reverently accepts the box before asking her, how much? 1,200 yen. He takes some money out of his pocket and gives it to the girl. After she takes it, she gives a deep bow before energetically running off. Oyuhiko gives a smug smile as he sees off the girl. I see, so that's how it is. I'm finally beginning to understand Oyuhiko's ulterior motive for coming here. What is going on here? What in the Sam hell are you doing? I can't blame Yuka for getting sulky. A slightly cold seafood pizza has been placed on top of the glass table in front of the sofa. Wasn't your stomach not feeling very good? Yeah, but somehow it got better. As he says this, he reaches for another slice of pizza. Oh no, I flicked off the window. Haruka, didn't you say that you weren't hungry either? Yeah, earlier, you know, she monstrously declares this with an expression of unwavering expression. She nibbles at a slice of pizza with her small mouth.
今だって
What do you mean earlier? She means she's hungry now, but she wasn't hungry earlier. Haruka gives a small nod in agreement.
も
Jeez. Defeated, she drops down onto the sofa. I find that I can't stay mad at Haruka, who is calmly yet intently eating her food. She's just like any other honest, simple girl. At least that's how I see it. My frustration dies down as I observe the placid girl. Before I know it, all signs of irritation are washed away.
4月1日月曜日お昼のニュースです
This is the afternoon news. I got 20 minutes. Hear a polite voice from the announcer on TV. At that moment, a bird chirps. The rather sharp and shrill noise fills my ears. I try to find out where it's coming from. I find it in the upper right corner of the giant glass window overlooking the ocean. A cuckoo clock. This is the first time I've seen one. My voice is full of awe.
あれ
You just noticed it. Yeah, just now. At 10, I was changing my clothes in my room, and at 11, I was caught up with that repulsive meal, so I missed the sound of the clock both
私
times.
も昨日初めて気づいた時には驚いたけど
I was also surprised the first time I noticed it yesterday. I look around to find that nobody else is surprised by this. Oh, right. They arrived before me yesterday, so they already heard it.
なんか懐かしいな
It's kind of nostalgic.
今でも覚えてるけど
If memory serves me right, the last time I saw one of these things was in middle school. Hmm?
これよりももうちょっと大きめのやつで窓が2つついて
It was bigger and had 2 doors on it, not
もちろん
one.
鳩も
Of course,
で
there were 2 birds.
私
I'm pretty sure I thought they were a male and female pair of doves. Aren't you going to continue?
いやただ
No, that's all there is to it. That's all there is. Something doesn't feel right. I feel that at the tip of that conversation, there's an even greater story behind it that's now been washed away. It's obvious just by looking at her.
ねえ、そろそろ行かないか。
Hey, shouldn't we get going now? As he rises, Oyuhiko flicks his long bangs away from his
うん
face.
そうだねこんなとこ閉じこもってても
Yeah, you're right.
使えないし
It'll be a big waste of time if we stayed indoors all day. Where are we
そ
going?
んなの決まってるだろ。
Isn't it obvious?
テニス
To play tennis. Tennis?
皆さん支度してください
Everyone get ready. Well, that was unexpected. It's not that tennis is a problem. It's just that they said, let's play tennis like it was nothing. And there seems to be no issue with it. Just what is this seminar camp anyway? I asked us on our way to the tennis court.
だから
What do you mean? I mean, aside from the traditional meaning of a seminar, there's also other things implemented in it, like clubs and social activities. She nods in affirmation. Even so, is it alright for us to suddenly go start playing tennis from the get-go?
いいのいいの全然問題
It's alright. There's absolutely no problems with it. Yuka, may I ask... May I ask you what's really been bugging me?
どうぞ
Yeah. In the first place, what is a seminar camp?
何なんだって言われても
Camping in a seminar.
合宿だよ
Don't ask anymore. That's enough.
そうかな
Really? I can tell she's a bit dubious. take a look over my shoulder. Oyuhiko is walking behind me and Yuka, next to Haruka. He's trying to start a conversation with her, which doesn't seem to be working. I quickly turn my head back as if I can hear him quietly grumble to himself. Oyuhiko thinks from the start there was no goal. If there truly is one, then it's only to deepen the bonds of friendship between the group members, is he right?
惜しい惜しいけどちょっと違う
That's close, but it's a little different. How so?
それはまだ
I still can't tell you that.
だって命令なんだもん
I was ordered not to.
教授直々のお達し
They're direct official orders from the professor in
こ
charge.
の趣旨は
To the last day of camp,
とね
don't tell anyone the purpose behind it. Why?
そんなにしつこく聞かない
Don't be so persistent.
優香先生の
The first law of Professor Yuka's love formula.
しつこいよ
Dislike persistent men. Please remember that. She gives me a kind smile. The smile makes my heart pound loudly. I can feel my ears burn hot. When I realize what she means, I try not to act anxious. Dislike persistent men. Dislike who? Flustered, I feel the wind playfully brush against my cheek. It takes us 5 minutes to walk from the lodge to the tennis court.
さあやろうやろう
Alright then, let's play. Yuka's rented 4 rackets from the court's manager and forced them into our hands. It's almost blinding how much joy her eyes are radiating. Just then,
私いい
I'll pass. She places the racket she had just received gently against the bench.
はるかちゃんやらないの？
You're not playing? He is more disturbed by this than Yuka. Now that I think about it, he seemed very eager to play tennis. I bet that's because he was practically brought up as nobility. He probably had private lessons on how to play tennis since he was a kid.
でも
I'm not
見て
playing.
るだけじゃつまらないよ。
But won't you get bored just watching
見
us?
てない
I'm not going to watch.
私
I want to see the ocean.
海
The ocean?
海に行きたいの？
The ocean brings the salty, won't you carry it in your hair, in your mouth, in your soul? Haruka gives a small nod.
海か。
The ocean, huh?
じゃあ僕も行こうかな。
Then I'm going too.
奥彦
You too, Oyuhiko-kun.
だってよく考えてみてくれよ。せっかく海のそばに来たんじゃないか。まずは海を見たいと思うのは当然の欲求だよ。
It's only natural that we ought to see it first.
それにテニスだったら
Besides, you can play tennis whenever.
そっか
I see. That's too bad. I guess it can't be helped. There's a victorious glint in Oyuhiko's eyes. His mouth also warps into another smug grin.
じゃあ私たちはここにいるから
Then we'll be alright here. We? We? By we, Yuka means me and her. I also want to go to the ocean. I never said I was going to play tennis. I'm also going to the ocean. What? He faintly clicks his tongue as if to say, damn it. It's a very quiet sound, but I definitely heard it. He's trying to be discreet. He's not doing a very good job of it.
もう結構楽しみにしてたのになテニス
I was looking forward to tennis, Sue. I figured she'd say that. It's impossible to play tennis solo.
はあ
She looks depressed, and it's making me feel guilty. But that's just the way things work. In groups, the majority rules. As Yuka begins to walk away, I call her over. Hold on, what are you doing? What are you going to do with these? I point towards the racket and notice that Haruka's left hers the way it was, leaning against the bench.
えはあはいはい
I'll collect them and return them. She rudely snatches mine out of my hands. She seems a bit mad. She takes a racket from the bench and swings it wildly and rapidly. She's pissed. I notice something. By the time I think, look out, it's already too late. Tick sound rings out. Oh, Yiko got hit. The racket smashes into the back of his head. Collapses onto the ground in a daze. Panicking, Yuka crouches down and shakes his body. He's knocked out. What should I do? Divine punishment, huh?
なんで私がそんなの受けなきゃなんないのよ。
Why must I receive that? Not you, Yuka. Where's Haruka? I've lost sight of her. I look around and found her. She's already far away from the tennis court. I'll leave this to you.
勝手な行動しないでよ。
Don't just go acting rashly. I'm going to stop her from acting rashly. I shout this over my shoulder before chasing after Haruka. She disappears as she goes around the street's corner. Even though she shouldn't be far ahead, I still lose sight of her in the forest path. When I come out of the forest road into the coastline, I arrive at a crossroads. There's a small cove called Princess Beach to the west, and it seems like the east leads to a long beach called Moon Beach. Where should I go? It's at that moment I see Haruka headed towards Princess Beach. But she vanishes shortly afterwards, as if it were a mirage. I start running towards Princess Beach. As I walk onto the beach, I get a feeling that this place, surrounded by a rock, is a private beach. She is nowhere to be found. I'm starting to think that it was really a mirage. No, I see her. I start running again. Standing in the corner of the rock is a small, deserted barracks hut. It must have belonged to a fisherman in the past. In front of the hut is a beached, rotten ship. Said fisherman probably used it to go fishing. Haruka is sitting on the bow of the ship, firmly staring at the ocean. Her soft hair sways in the sea breeze. I'm unable to move, as if my soul has been drained from my body. It feels as though someone is telling me that I mustn't get any closer. She suddenly looks this way. Our eyes meet. I try to say something. I can't. My throat has become parched.
どうして
Why?
どうしてそこにいるの
Why are you here? I don't really know.
どうして
Why? As I gaze into her large eyes, I can neither answer her nor move. That is, you,
前
you. Well, by you, I meant...
あれ
Meant what? No, it's just, I came here chasing after you. Didn't I? That's what I meant by
わ
you.
からない
I don't understand. I don't get it myself either. As if trying to dodge their question, I laugh. But Haruka doesn't even try to smile.
私は
Doesn't matter. Huh?
探さなくても
You don't need to look for me.
違うから
Because I am different. Different?
違うから
Because I am different. It's fine. What do you mean fine? Just as I'm about to continue speaking, I hear Yuka Nohiko's voices in the
誠、
distance.
はるか、どこ？
Where are you?
はるかちゃん
Haruka-chan. I turn around to find small human figures walking down the coastline road. Hey, over here. Oh. As I raise my hand to wave, my mouth is covered from behind. I cock my head in puzzlement. It's Haruka. Before I knew it, she had come up behind me.
動かないで
Don't move. She's covering my mouth with incredible strength. Her glare is piercing me.
黙っていられる
Can you be quiet? All I can do is nod. I clumsily nod countless times. Satisfied, she lets go. As I take a deep breath, she quickly grabs my hand and jerks me along.
来て。
Come on. Yuka and Oyuhiko's voices are getting closer. Haruka swiftly climbs up the wrecked ship. She drags me towards the deck. I exclaim in surprise as I board the ship. The cabin in the center of the deck looks like a mess, worn down by years of decay and neglect. Despite the danger, she enters the cabin, and I frantically chase after her. It's pleasantly cool inside the cabin. On the tattered walls, I see several bugs here and there, crawling through gaping holes that allow me to see the outside. A sea roach enters the room. Haruka is staring at it. For some reason, her face brightens up. Does she like those things? Do you like them? I try asking her. She nods. Why sea roaches of all things? I can't understand her taste. Well, what part about them do you like?
初めて見る生き物だから。
Because it's the first time I've seen one. That just confuses me even more. It's not what she said, but rather her logic. It's kind of like a kindergartner. They're always excited over things they've never seen before, particularly extraordinary things. It's probably why she doesn't find them revolting. Just like earthworms or trachododes. They're all living, aren't they? I have no clue why I said that. However, Haruka quietly nods, as if she understands me. Soon we hear their voices, and footsteps approach
こん
us.
な新規臭いところに来ているとは僕には思えないな。
I don't think they went to a dreary place like this.
まったく誠ったら
Jeez, I wonder if Makoto's found Haruka yet.
石原なんかに任せたの間違
It
いっ
was
て
a
もんだ
mistake
よ。
to leave it to Ishihara.
ぼーっとしてるもんね誠って
Makoto's just spacing out. Damn you, Yuka. Don't talk about people behind their backs. Don't just agree with whatever Oyuhiko says either. And why the hell are you saying my name without any honorifics? Huh? Yuka? Come to think of it, I've just been calling her by your first name without any honorifics either. Thinking about it carefully, I realize it hasn't just been Yuka. I've been addressing Haruka and Oyuhiko without any honorifics either, haven't I? Why is that? And in the first place, isn't it weird that I didn't notice this straight from the get-go? She places her hand on my shoulder, jolting me away from my thoughts.
行ったみたい。
It seems they've gone. I can no longer hear Yuka or Oyuhiko's voices anymore. I can't feel their presences either. When I nod, Haruka gets out of the cabin. Taking a deep breath, I follow after her. As I exit outside, I see Haruka jumping off the ship. Sand flies around her clothes. Just like that, she walks towards the ocean. She doesn't even brush the sand off. She kicks off her shoes, as if she intends to completely strip and go swimming. I dumbfoundedly watch her. She does it so naturally, as if it required no second thought. Haruka! Taken aback, I notice this. As I notice this, I shout. She quickly turns around. I jump off the wrecked ship and run over to her. I realize that I have nothing to say. What? No, it's just you. We're planning a trip? There's no way I can say something like that.
裸になると思った？
Did you think I was going to strip naked? No way. Having seen right through, I try to fake another clumsy laugh. As expected, she doesn't react. Instead, her eyes are fixed on the faraway horizon as she dips her feet in the water. Anyway, I wanted to ask why you ran away from Yuka and Oyuhiko.
一人がいいの。
I prefer being alone. Even though you say that, we're at this camp. There's no point in isolating yourself. Besides, aren't you lonely?
寂しい。
Lonely.
何が？
Why? Even if you say why, being alone is just...
わからない。
I don't understand. Huh?
私には
Because I am nothing. What?
心がないから。
Because I have no heart. Come again?
私には
Because I have no heart. I don't understand. Haruka walks away without even looking at me. What was that? I don't get it at all. I have no heart? What is she saying? Though I want to ask her more about it, I swallow my word. My eyes are completely captivated by the sight of Haruka walking down the beach. The atmosphere is unworldly. The waves go in and out, striking Haruka's nearly transparent bare feet rhythmically. Her legs shine as if they're bathed by the sunlight. The wind plays with her hair and gently caresses my face. A wild fancy strikes me. Is she not human? Did she come from the bottom of the ocean? Or is she someone from a different planet or a different dimension? Can't be. And with that, it's time to save. And we will return to this in a few hours. Thank you all for stopping by, whether present or in future.